The mysterious death of Elisa Lam. What really happened at the Cecil Hotel? Elisa Lam's death, which happened all the way back in 2013, remains one of the most mysterious and unsolved crimes that can be attributed to the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. This tragic tragedy occurred in 2013, and investigations are still ongoing to determine the circumstances surrounding her death. Lam was aged 31 years at birth on April 30, 1991. At the birth time, Lam was a young adult. Lam was born in the city of Vancouver, Canada. This was the city where Lam was residing. At the moment that he was enrolled at the University of British Columbia, he was a student. She had been traveling throughout Southern California alone, and to communicate with others and share her journey, she was blogging on a number of social media sites. The essence behind the venture was to record her travels and communicate with other individuals. She had stopped on the way to Los Angeles, and she stayed at the Cecil Hotel, which was infamous for having a reputation of being an institution, known for having a reputation to be a place that is known for a history of not-so-great repute. She was able to stay at the Cecil Hotel. The neighborhood had a record of crime and bizarre events predating Lam's stay at the Cecil Hotel in the Skid Row district. Lam's stay at the Cecil Hotel marked a new page in this record. This was the first and undoubtedly very time anything like this has ever occurred, and it only happened while Lam was on the job. These connections with other persons of less than desirable reputation, including serial killers like Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger, for instance, gave it notoriety covering a broad scope of people. Such notoriety was everywhere. In turn, that terrible reputation made Lam the object of people's curiosity and anxiety, and therefore brought an extra degree of mystery around Lam's death and disappearance. This was due to the fact that Lam's reputation was terrible. One more interesting element was added to the situation around the circumstances of Lam's death and disappearance. The mysterious nature of Lam's death and disappearance has drawn considerable amounts of publicity. In 2013, Elisa Lam made a reservation at the Cecil Hotel on 31 January through an application. It is shown here. She had planned to travel alone, and the purpose of this trip for her was to indulge in some leisurely exploration without feeling a sense of rush about anything. She wanted her vacation to be a solo journey. However, on her side, her family had not received any word from her for a number of days, and therefore indeed made them develop a growing concern as to who she was and where she was. At this point, she had not been heard from for a number of days. She was reported to the Los Angeles Police Department on February 1st. It was specified there that she was missing from March 1st. Missing since 1st March, the hotel received such reports. So after the disappearance of Lam, a very wide investigation was carried out to search for the circumstances of his disappearance. In the course of this investigation, we interviewed, surveyed film shot by security cameras, and viewed the hotel's premises. When a film to be released regarding the terrifying film with Elisa Lam was published, the case caught significant attention from prominent media channels. This attention was due to the publishing. The camera caught Lam acting in a ridiculous way as he was on the elevator. Lam is reportedly seen acting in such a manner. Reports from the Los Angeles Police Department revealed that the footage was released to the public on February 15th. In the video, Lam is seen performing a number of strange acts, including staring out from the window of the elevator and pushing a number of buttons, which are located on the elevator. It is possible to see how Lam performs each of these acts. The security cameras found in the elevator of the hotel caught the clip for the reason of recording it. There have been many discussions and suggestions in relation to her mental state, in addition to what could have been happening in that footage due to such behaviors. And this is something of great interest. For after all, her behavior is at the same time both terroristic and amorphous. After weeks of intensifying investigation and so much speculation in the media, even before it could be found, the body of Elisa Lam was found on February 19, 2013. This was after a number of weeks from when she had gone missing. According to findings of an inquiry that lasted for several weeks, this was how it came about. The lifeless body of the man was discovered by the fellow who was working in the maintenance department of the hotel. The point of discovery was the water tank that was positioned on the roof of the hotel. As a ladder was brought up to access the tank, it was realized that the lid used to cover the tank had only partially covered it. This was when the cover had to be accessed in an attempt to gain entry into the tank. The causes were identified to be owing to complaints from the guests, which included complaints over low water pressure and the peculiar flavor of the water they had been drinking on a daily basis. Even though they were both tragic and mysterious, still worth noting is that the facts surrounding Lam's death were the same. That's the thing that should be considered. The public at large was made aware of the autopsy report that was made available in February 2014. The determination made by it was that the death of Lam was due to an accidental drowning incident. This conclusion was reached after handing Lam's corpse to the authorities for examination. The investigation did not find evidence of sexual assault or any form of physical violence. That was discovered during the course of the investigation. As mentioned in the toxicology report, there were traces of the medication prescribed to Lam for her condition of bipolarity, though no other drugs were detected in her system. Lam had been prescribed the drug for her condition. There was evidence of residues of the medication found in Lam's system. The patient referred to as Lam ultimately proved to be suffering from what medical professionals have come to understand as the mental illness of bipolar disorder. Even though it was declared that the cause of death by drowning was due to an accident, several questions remained unanswered until the issue was dealt with. Where did Lam find himself initially, and what was the reason behind it which made him go to the rooftop of the hotel? I was wondering if you could clarify why she behaved the way she did in the scene in the film outside the elevator. Due to the case, many theories and ideas have been put forth in attempts to be considered a potential solution. The scope of these explanations and speculations ranges from psychiatric problems and accidental deaths to much more sinister accounts involving extraterrestrial sources of foul play or drugs. All these explanations and theories, it has been suggested, are a reaction to the case as presented. An essential aspect that led to the credibility of the theory was the history of the Cecil Hotel, an element in itself that made the idea valid. As it has stood there for such a long time, the dark history has made the hotel a place of various suicides and crimes committed inside. This came to be in the wake of the fact that it formed the location where much criminal activity was being conducted. Many people have suggested that the public's view of the case was a result of the perception of the hotel, and that among its dark background was the mystery shrouding the case in which Lam was murdered. It was veiled in such mystery and secrecy how Lam went away. Elisa Lam's death has been one of the strangest and scariest incidents to have occurred in the course of recent events. That is because Elisa Lam was one individual who had been born and raised in America. Perfect Storm, a horrible elevator movie, the bizarre circumstances under which she was murdered, and the gruesome history of the hotel created the perfect storm of mystery and intrigue. The convergence of all these elements came together for a perfect storm. It was brought about as a result of the coming together of many elements which, until then, had been in each other's midst. It is not surprising that people continue to be impelled to inquire about the specific events that took place at the Cecil Hotel, given that the story continues to captivate and puzzle a lot of people. The official findings said that the individual had drowned as a result of an accident, but this is the ultimate conclusion that has been arrived at. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.